Gomez and Company welcome former SU quarterback Eric Dungey thanks to Liverpool Pool and Spa on the flagship station of SU football, TK99 and TK105.
Live from his home in Oregon near Lake Oswego, Eric Dungey. How you doing, Eric?
I'm good. How about you, Gomez?
Good. Did you make it to your favorite new steakhouse? What have you?
Yeah, we did. It was solid. I'm curious what we're going to do this weekend. Maybe go to a spot in Portland. Not sure, but it'll be nice. Syracuse, hopefully they can get this win out in Boston College and can go get a little maybe celebratory dinner or something.
Well, as far as the BC game goes, again, a noon kickoff here in the East. So you're up early watching the Cuse game at 9. Now, if this were like however many years ago, would there be a chance that you and some buddies might have gone to a bar, even though it was 9 o'clock in the morning your time, and had a beer while watching a game on a Saturday morning at 9, or no?
I don't think so. Not that early. I will say, West Coast is probably the best time zone for college football and football in general. I mean, you wake up, you got football all day, and then you even got the Hawaii game, and Hawaii's playing later at night. I mean, they're 3 hours behind, so you really can just sit on the couch and watch football all day. It's really awesome. But for me personally, I love waking up and having a nice cup of coffee and watching Syracuse as opposed to maybe a beer.
Coach Fran and the team are putting themselves in a pretty good spot here at 6-2, heading into the game tomorrow at the BC. Who at 4-4, I think they're actually better than that record. I think a lot of people preseason had expected maybe more of the team as far as a record. But when you watch them play, Coach Bill O'Brien has really done a great job of turning that program around in a short period of time.
Yeah, and I think last week's victory was huge for Syracuse to get them back on track and also to just to get some momentum going forward. And, you look at the season, I feel like it's been pretty up and down, but the 6-2 record and, I think just there's a lot of opportunity here for Syracuse, and you never know what's going to happen with the ACC. And I mean, Miami, week in and week out, it just looks like they're a second half team. They always pull it out in the fourth quarter. But I don't know. It's just there's obviously some cracks in the foundation there. They're a very solid team, and I think that's what Syracuse is going up against right now in terms of competing against the ACC. But for Boston College, I mean, as you were saying, Coach Bill O'Brien has done a phenomenal job. And not only that, but, Boston College, they're 4-4. But if you look at their schedule, they have been so tight in every single game. They're winning some games with the backup. I mean, Thomas Castellanos is a huge game changer there. So that's going to be Syracuse's focus, defensively, and just making sure that they can get pressure on him, contain him in the pocket, make sure you have a spy on him. Don't let him, run around back there and create some extra plays. So I think for Syracuse, they really just have to make sure that they're locked in here and just be prepared for anything. And then, Kyle McCord should have a field day. Boston College secondary, not the best, definitely not the best that they're going to see all season. So the receivers are probably chomping at the bit. And, Kyle, I can see another 330, 350-yard passing game for him at BC if the weather permits.
Now, as you mentioned, defensively, trying to zone in on Castellanos, and the defense, the SU defense has kind of struggled against guys like that in some of the running teams this year. Now not helped with the news that Marcellus Barnes was not going to be available not only tomorrow, but even for the rest of the season. But is he the key guy, really, that Marlo Wax and everybody on the defense has to be focusing on?
Oh, I would 100% think so. I mean, BC goes as he goes. If you look at all of their comeback wins, at all of the success that they've had, it's when he's on. He's such a game changer when he's able to run around back there. He kind of reminds me of like Kyler Murray, and just he's just super quick, and he's got a great arm, and he's able to extend those plays. But also with high risk comes high reward, and he's made a couple of great plays, but he's also made some really tough decisions that have cost his team the game. So you just got to hope that he gets some pressure on him, and that he's not on this game, and he's starting to force the ball, down the field or maybe into tighter coverage. And Syracuse comes up with one or two big turnovers, that especially deep in their territory to get Kyle and the guys some points early in the game.
And as you mentioned, should be a big game for Kyle, meaning a big game for the receivers. I know last week Justice Ross Simmons kind of had a breakout game and given Kyle another target to shoot for. Who do you expect this week might be the guy to step up?
You know what? I would love to see Justice Ross Simmons get some more action and get some more time. I think the best thing for Coach Brown that he's done, and he said, if you prove yourself, we're going to feed you the rock. And whether it was LeQuint or whether it was Aronde, whether it was Trevor Pena. I mean, the arsenal is continuing to grow week in and week out. You don't just have one guy. I think in the past it was just Aronde Gadsden, and if Aronde didn't have a big game, then Syracuse was just kind of stuck in the mud. But now everyone's focused on Aronde, which opens up Trevor Pena, which opens up a Justice Ross Simmons. And not only that, but LeQuint's, I got so much respect for the kid just because of how hard he runs, and he just, wears his heart on his sleeve. So if you can get him going, then that offense, it is so tough to stop. And the biggest thing is just going to come to, taking care of the ball and making sure that we're not, getting any turnovers. And, the Pitt game was kind of an anomaly there. There were just so many things that went wrong. I feel like all these tipped balls, and sometimes that happens as a quarterback, it's just like, balls are going to get tipped, and sometimes they're just going to fall into the defender's hand. And unfortunately, it just happened way too many times, and it's tough to come back when you're down 2+ in the turnover margin. So just making sure that we're taking care of the ball, forcing Thomas Castellanos into some uncomfortable situations, and then for the most part, just flying around offensively and doing what they do best and getting the playmakers the ball.
Did you watch Thursday Night Football last night, the NFL game, Baltimore and Cincinnati?
I did. That was a tough loss there for the Bengals in the stretch, and I think with the advancement in technologies, there's got to be something to kind of help with the penalties. I mean, Burrow's face mask got hit 2 times on the final play. In the NFL, I know it's like 2-hand touch for the quarterback now, but it's crazy that he's literally getting punched in the face basically as he's throwing, and there's nothing there. So that's tough to see, and that changes the whole outcome of a game. Because if that was Baltimore, they would have gotten those calls on the home field, and that's tough.
And the decision to go for 2 on the road and the win versus the extra point. And we were talking about this earlier. That's one of those plays that if you call it and you're the coach and it works, you're a genius. But if you call it and it doesn't, the next day the fans are all over you, and it's just, one play, but that's the perception of it.
Yeah, and you know what? Zach Taylor's actually probably one of my favorite coaches. He's a really, really knowledgeable guy, smart guy. That they were going to go for 2 regardless. And that's, more so the outcome of the game when you're on the road. On Baltimore, the fans were really getting into it. I think they had scored on 3 of the last 4 possessions. So Baltimore offensively was basically cooking, and they were going to do well in overtime. So I think for them, they're like, all right, if we can end it, let's end it now. I love the decision to do it. I think in overtime, Baltimore had all the momentum, especially at home. So, and again, it came down to, one, Giuseppe was getting held, so there was defensive holding, and then, Burrow again got his face mask grabbed, so could have been a penalty that, would have put them at the 1-yard line or something, and they could have easily just ran the ball or, opened up the whole playbook. But, now we're sitting here talking, could have been a good decision, but...
Well, Eric, listen, great stuff. As always, have a great weekend. Go Orange, and we'll chat on Monday. Hopefully another road win to talk about from the game tomorrow.
So thanks, Gomez.